Imagine the most powerful person you know. How much do they talk? Now imagine the most unsuccessful person you know. How much do they talk? See the pattern? The wisest men in history, kings, philosophers, warriors, they all shared one uncommon trait. They knew when to say nothing. And in a world that rewards the loudest voice in the room, this skill has become the rarest superpower on the planet. Today, we are talking about the power of silence. Not as a weakness, not as shyness, but as a weapon. Let's get into it. Welcome back to The Inner Edge, where we cut through the noise and get to what actually builds a stronger mind. If this is your first time here, every week we break down the mindsets, habits, and frameworks of the most disciplined people in history. Hit subscribe so you never miss an upload. Now, let's talk about silence. Point number 1. Silence is not emptiness, it is power. Most people are uncomfortable with silence, a pause in conversation, and they immediately fill it, an empty moment, and they reach for their phone. Silence feels like nothing. But here is what the greatest minds in history knew. Silence is not the absence of something. It is the presence of everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. He was the most powerful man on earth, and his greatest refuge was silence." Think about that. When you are constantly talking, constantly reacting, constantly filling every moment with noise, you are giving the world access to your mind. Silence is a closed door, and not everyone deserves to walk through it. Point number 2. The most dangerous people in the room are the quietest. Think about every powerful figure you have ever respected. They do not overshare. They do not explain themselves unnecessarily. They do not defend every decision. They speak when it matters. And when they do speak, people listen. There is a famous saying, "Empty vessels make the most noise. The river that runs deepest makes the least sound." Here is the harsh truth. Every time you over-explain yourself, you are signaling insecurity. Every time you fill silence with unnecessary words, you are leaking power. Every time you react immediately without pause, you are proving that your emotions control you. The person who can sit in silence, observe, and then respond, that person controls the room. Not the loudest one, the quietest one. Point number 3. Silence makes you a better thinker. Science backs this up completely. A 2013 study published in the journal Brain and Structure found that just 2 hours of silence per day prompted cell development in the hippocampus, the region of the brain linked to memory, learning, and emotion. Read that again. Silence literally grows your brain. When you're constantly consuming podcasts, music, social media, conversations, your brain never gets the space to actually process, to connect dots, to find solutions, to think clearly. The greatest ideas in history were not born in board meetings. They were born in silence. Isaac Newton discovered gravity, sitting alone under a tree. Einstein said his best thinking happened during long, quiet walks. Steve Jobs was famous for his silent walks before making major decisions. Silence is not wasted time. Silence is the work. Point number 4. Silence gives you control in every conversation. Here is a social skill most people never learn. The person who speaks last wins, not the person who speaks first, not the person who speaks most, the person who speaks last. When someone says something that triggers you, silence is your greatest weapon. Instead of reacting immediately, pause. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. In those seconds, you are doing something the other person cannot predict. You are thinking. And when you finally respond, your words carry 10 times more weight. Because they were chosen, not fired. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is not just wisdom, this is a strategy. The next time someone challenges you, insults you, or tries to provoke you, say nothing. Watch how much power you take back in that silence. Point number 5. The world will try to steal your silence. This is important to understand. Every notification, every trending topic, every breaking news alert is designed to pull you out of silence. Because a silent mind is a thinking mind, and a thinking mind cannot be controlled. The most valuable thing you own is your attention, and silence is how you protect it. Here is a simple practice that will change your life. Every morning, before you touch your phone, sit in silence for 10 minutes. No music, no podcast, no scrolling, just silence. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, even painful. That discomfort is your mind detoxing from noise. Push through it, because on the other side of that discomfort is the clearest, most powerful version of your mind, the version that makes better decisions. That feels less anxious. That knows exactly what it wants. Silence is not empty. It is where you live. Point number 6. Silence is the ultimate form of confidence. Insecure people talk too much. They need validation. They need to be heard. They need to fill every space with their presence. Confident people are comfortable being invisible. They do not need to announce themselves. They do not need to explain their choices. They do not need your approval because they have their own. There's a Japanese concept called MA. It means the power of the pause, the beauty of empty space. In Japanese art, music, and architecture, the empty space is not nothing. The empty space is everything. It is what gives the other elements meaning. Your silence works the same way. It gives your words weight. It gives your presence gravity. It makes people lean in instead of tuning out. So let us bring it home. 6 reasons why silence is your greatest superpower. 1. Silence is not emptiness. It is power, a closed door to your mind. 2. The most dangerous people in the room are the quietest. 3. Silence makes you a better thinker. It literally grows your brain. 4. Silence gives you control. The person who speaks last wins. 5. The world will try to steal your silence. Protect it every morning. 6. Silence is the ultimate confidence. You need no one's approval. Here is your challenge this week. 1 hour of complete silence. Every day, no phone, no music, no conversation, just you and your thoughts. Most people cannot do this for 10 minutes. Can you do it for an hour? If this video made you think, subscribe to The Inner Edge. Every Tuesday, we go deep on the mindsets and habits of people who have actually figured this out. The next video is already waiting for you. I will see you there.